welcome to today's Ramblogue. I'm going to be taking a look at Raya and the Last Dragon, the new Disney Animation Studios film, so not Pixar, the other one, that's been released on Disney Plus through the Premier Access system. For those who don't know, Premier Access is when when Disney are putting out a film during the apocalypse, and they because they know it'll have either limited or no cinema release, they put it out for like a cinema pricing, essentially, for Premier Access to a feature that's supposed to be in cinemas, with the idea being that later on it will become part of your Disney Plus subscription and you can watch it for free. But if you want to see it, earlier or when it would be in cinemas, you have that option for a price, for a fixed price. They did it with Mulan. And they didn't do it with Soul, which I found really interesting. I guess they're just experimenting at this point, seeing what works best. They stocked Soul up on Christmas Day for no extra cost, whereas Raya and the Last Dragon. I keep calling it Raya the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon. I've seen the movie. I know what it should be called. Raya and the Last Dragon, which I'll from this point forward just call Raya, is up for in the UK £19.99 in pounds. I don't know what it is in the States, and it won't be. It doesn't seem available for free to Disney Plus users or as part of their subscription. I suppose people always call you out when you say that. It's for free. It's not for free. You're paying for Disney Plus. Okay, yeah, you know what I mean. It becomes part of your Disney Plus package around June the 4th. So the question I guess a lot of people are asking is, is this worth the cost, the $19.99? So we're going to do a kind of a little review of the film and then talk about a spoiler-free review of the film, just sort of my general thoughts, and then we'll talk a little bit about whether it's worth that price. Just a little bit. So, film itself, it's really good. I just, do we expect anything different from Disney at this point? They're on a bit of a hot streak, I guess. I mean, look, I don't think Frozen's amazing personally, but no doubt Moana is an incredible film. Tangled remains one of my all-time favorite Disney films. I think it's better than Frozen. So they're obviously doing really well, but I was kind of excited about Raya going in because I kind of was like, oh, well, there's a certain level of quality that's automatically associated to this in my head. So I was kind of looking forward to it. I also liked that it had a really diverse cast. I think that's really cool. I'm glad Disney is starting to do that more often now. I mean, Moana had took a similar approach. Also, give me different cultures, give me different things. I don't want every movie to be the same and about the same sorts of things and have the same vibe. Oh, give me something unique, So I think in terms of the subject matter, I guess Raya and the Last Dragon is a little different from the usual Disney sort of princess fare. It certainly stands out against Frozen and Tangled. For a start, it's a little bit more action-based, I'd say. But there is a pattern now with these Disney movies. So it is, I would argue, my biggest criticism, which isn't really a criticism at all, is that it is a little safe. This isn't changing, this isn't reinventing the wheel. This is a really good concept executed perfectly. They're not trying to challenge you. They're not trying to do anything different. They've got a formula that they're making work, and they do it excellently. The amount of polish in this movie, the amount of quality in this movie is staggering. The music is insane. The visuals are stunning. It's so good. It looks so good. Where does it end now with these sort of these animated movies? I remember I sat down to watch Toy Story 4. I know it's a different studio technically, but they're part of the same family, and we're talking about what technology is going to do. I remember sitting down to watch Toy Story 4 in the Leicester Square Dolby digital. What is it? It's a laser projector. And the opening scene where Woody's in the rain and each raindrop was splashing in that kind of quality on that screen in Leicester Square. It blew my mind that we've come this far. It just looked so photoreal. Obviously, the Woody himself didn't, because obviously the design is cartoony in nature, but the quality of the imagery and the movements. And then you look at Soul and you see some of the visuals of New York there, again, kind of stylized, cartoony, but in terms of their ability to sort of like be crisp and detailed and move right, it's scary what they can currently do. And Raya is no exception. It is a visually stunning film. I do think as well it's a really fun story, and I think it's got some of the most likable characters they've had in one of these movies for some time. I think the whole cast are like, they're all kind of my favorite. um, it does start with, I mean, I must admit, I do always hate it when a movie starts with essentially like this is the history of the world we're entering, because I just think like a good movie would weave this into the into the exposition, into the dialogue, make it natural, bring it out. Like, this feels lazy. Here's the history of our world. I don't want to go into a movie and be handed a like little pamphlet on the way, and it's like, here's all the backstory you need to know. That's essentially what it is when you open a movie like this, like that. But it is, I suppose, very different from our world. So I guess they were just like, it's the history of this place is relevant and maybe a little bit complex, and I guess all the characters kind of know it, so it'd be tricky to make them explain it to each other because they all know their own history, so why would they all conveniently drop it into conversation? I don't know, maybe there was a challenge there, but I do always feel that's like, there's a bunch of great projects do that, but it always irks me slightly. Maybe that's just a personal thing. It's super funny. I laughed a lot, particularly with this sort of the wider cast. I think they got a good balance because Raya and the other more sort of serious or dramatic character, I guess you call an antagonist, but this movie, one thing I do like about this movie, where it does a little bit break from the mold, is the antagonist is a little bit more complex than just mustache twirling villain. I mean, no, I never complain when you get a good Jafar, just someone who is just evil for the sake of it. But it's also nice as well when you get a villain with a perspective you understand. It's what makes Black Panther such a great film, is that's one of Marvel's best villains, Killmonger. He's kind of right. He's going about it the wrong way, but his point is correct. And while it's not as strong as that here, you understand where this villain got to where they got to. And they're not really, it's more complicated than just they're a villain, and I like that a lot. So yeah, there's big adventure obstacles, and they've got along the way, and they collect a cast as they go. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as I can, but the sort of number of characters involved in the adventure grows as the movie grows. And I will say what they've done, which I think is quite clever, is they've really balanced it. So Raya she's not a dry character, but they very purposefully made her focused on her goal, on her mission, which means that you sort of have to have the other characters support her and give them the light side of it, and a bit of like just a bit of levity, not comic relief, but levity. And I think they do that brilliantly here, because all the other side characters all have both an emotional and solid reason to be involved. They're not like, they're not just comedy characters that are there to be funny. They also have a tie to the story and a drama to them, but they provide a lot of levity because of the design of the characters, and I think that's really clever. And it works really well. Again, they're not reinventing the wheel here; they're just doing a thing they've done before well, and that is this movie summed up. I think it's excellent. I think it is, one of the most polished movies they've ever made. And I mean, I haven't even gotten into like the cast yet, who are brilliant top to bottom. Like, everyone is sort of on fire here. Like, they are all delivering exactly what the script sort of needs them to deliver. They're all very capable. I mean, obviously Kelly Marie Tran doing a wonderful job as Raya, but also like Awkwafina does a really good job. She has to toe a line as well. She's playing a character that very easily could veer into annoying, but doesn't. I'm trying to think who else we have in this. Oh yeah, Gemma Chan is in this, and she's wonderful. Daniel Day Kim is in this. Benedict Wong is in this, and he's great. They even sneak in like Alan Tudyk. um, I'm trying to feel like I feel like I'm leaving somebody out. I might have to look this up in a second just make sure I'm not leaving out any of the major sort of cast. Oh, they got this young kid Isaac Wang who I don't know. I just brought it up. Who I didn't know from prior to this. But is absolutely brilliant. What's he been in? I'm just looking to see if I do know anything he's been in before I embarrass myself. No, I haven't seen him in anything. Apparently he's going to do a voice in the Gremlins animated show. But yeah, he brings a really fun tone to it. So yeah, I think I'm rambling a little bit now, but I just overall it's almost a perfect movie. There's literally nothing wrong with it. That's it's a really fun story told in a really good way with a very satisfying conclusion, a really solid structure, great characters. It's funny, it's colorful, it's entertaining, like it's visually stunning. Like there's nothing at all wrong with this movie. Again, the closest I can come to with a criticism is just that you feel like Pixar are trying to challenge themselves now. You look at a movie like Soul, for all of it is flawed in several ways, but I feel like they're trying to challenge themselves and do something more interesting and something a bit more outside of the box. Whereas I feel like Disney are kind of becoming like the safe, reliable, like the Disney side of the studio is becoming sort of safe and reliable, and like you know exactly what you're getting going into this movie. If you're into these kinds of movies, then this is going to tick all those boxes. If you enjoyed Moana, you're going to enjoy this. If you enjoyed Frozen, you're going to enjoy this. Like this is, a really, really solid entry. So the question I suppose then becomes, is this worth your money? I think that really does depend. If you are a parent and you have children, yes, I think this is absolutely worth it. $19.99 in the UK is a ticket and a half to the cinema. And if you could take a family of four to the cinema for $19.99, you'd be happy. That's a good price. And I think that's why it's priced this way. If you're on your own, it's a lot harder to justify. Because it's not sort of like breaking the mold or anything, I don't think there's any reason to want to watch this like immediately. I don't think there's any reason to need to see this right now. I'm hearing mixed things. I'm literally... Oh, that's interesting. So looking online, the date I keep seeing for Premier Access to go away on Raya and Last Dragon, for it to be available, is June the 4th. But apparently if you log into the app in some countries... like Chile is the example I'm being given here, it states that it's going to be available sooner. Yeah, they're saying the 23rd of April. So I don't know if that's a mistake or what that is, but most sources are currently telling me, I'm going to just go with what like 90% of like the websites and press releases I can find is. They're all saying June the 4th. But I guess maybe it'll be sooner than that. But yeah, I think people can wait. I don't think there's any rush to see this if you're in a smaller group. I think it becomes like 2 or more people. I think it becomes a lot more justifiable. Like I watched it with Nadia, my girlfriend. So like it was, we'd have seen that in the cinema and we'd have spent that much, if not more, on the tickets. Like $12.50 a ticket each. Usually we spent £10, I guess, each to watch it. So I do think it's worth it if basically it's 2 or more people, because it is just like seeing it in the cinema. I guess you're not getting the big screen and the sound system, so maybe people wouldn't feel that's worth it. But I will happily lose the big screen and the sound system to have peace and quiet while I watch the movie, and not like 2 people having a conversation like 2 rows behind me, or hear someone's shit commentary on the film as we go, or somebody really eating food really loudly or something. That's like, I hate that. It ruins the cinema experience for me so often. Anyway, I'm just very sensitive to that. Like, I find it really hard to like concentrate and enjoy a film if there's like another noise just constantly pulling me out of it. It brings me to rage very quickly. Anyway, yeah. So I guess it's big question mark as to whether it'd be worth it. Comes down to your personal circumstances. I think that if you've got a big family, it's absolutely worth paying that. But even then, if times are tight, you can wait until June, or April if it is April. Yeah, I think that's okay. it's again, it doesn't break the mold in any way. So yeah, I guess it's a bit of a cop out answer, because I guess the question I'm asking in my slightly clickbaity title is it worth it? And the answer is it's a really, really, really good film. But whether it's worth it will be dependent on your circumstances. I was glad I saw it. And I was happy to pay to see it and support it, because again, it's hard not to, sort of, it's hard not to sort of support that kind of quality. And again, like, the reason I don't put it maybe on the same place as like Soul is because I thought about the movie Soul for quite a while after I saw it. Like, it stayed with me a bit. Raya is kind of fun and frivolous, and I kind of forgot I saw it. Before, no, that sounds mean. That sounds harsher than I mean it to sound. But like, it's kind of like, I was like, I've seen it, that's done. I sort of compartmentalized it and moved on. Like, I really enjoyed it, and that was that. So it's a great piece of entertainment, and it does have a good message, but it's quite a simplistic message, and I think it's also quite, in some ways, a kind of naive message, which if once you've seen the movie, you'll think maybe proves that I didn't take the message on board at all. But yeah, I think children particularly will really enjoy it, and I do think there's a lot there for adults too, and there's really good action, good music, all that stuff. So yeah, I am rambling, so I will stop. I know that is it's called a Ramblogue, so rambling is kind of part of it, but there is a line. So yeah, check out Raya and the Last Dragon, and hopefully you will enjoy it as I did, or wait till June and then enjoy it as I did. Comment down below. Are you paying? Also, I'm not going to look it up, but out of curiosity, like, how do people feel about these pricing systems? Because I know there's a lot of people that quite critical of them being priced so highly when they're home viewing. But I kind of understand why, because again, if multiple people are watching it through one, it's kind of, yeah, I kind of understand why it keeps happening this way. So yeah, thoughts below, and I'll speak to you guys on the next one.